Hey guys, it's Tim and this is Pro Wrestling Unlimited. As it's Wednesday, and you know what that means. I better move my drink. I almost just knocked the whole thing over. It's Wednesday, and you know what that means. It's AEW Dynamite. We actually have some AEW news to talk about before we talk about Dynamite, so we're going to get into all of that here. We got some stuff within, I guess you could say, what would you say, the women's division of AEW? We got a Nyla Rose story, and we got a Ruby Soho story. So we'll get into all of that here, but Dynamite. So right off the bat, I do have to say that the notes I'm going to read are not my own notes. I had a friend take the notes for me because I watched Dynamite. I don't want to give too many details, but I watched Dynamite outside of the house, outside of my house, away from my computer. So I couldn't take notes and watch at the same time, but I had a friend take notes for me. So if I stumble on these notes at all, that is why they're not my actual notes. But I've had this person do notes for me before, and so I trust them. But with that, overall, I thought Dynamite was a good show. I thought it was a very interesting go-home show. It had a good segment at the end to build towards your main event, your Samoa Joe Swerve match. I'm still on the belief of why the hell is Will Ospreay in the Don Callis family. It still doesn't make sense, and there was dissension with all of that tonight, with Will not liking that the rest of the family came out. And also, correct me here, Luke. When the hell, because Excalibur said it, when was Will Hobbs ever aligned with John Moxley? Excalibur said it tonight. When? Do you remember that?
I don't recall that at all.
Yeah.
I don't think they were ever aligned.
Because go for it.
When Hobbs was when Hobbs even first showed up in AEW, he was always with Team Taz. Then he joined up with QTV for a little bit, which that didn't last long. Now he's with the Don Callis family.
It was weird because, unless I heard him wrong, Excalibur said something along the lines of, oh, you know, Powerhouse Hobbs used to be in the corner of John Moxley. And maybe I heard him wrong. Maybe I heard him wrong. Correct me in the live chat if I heard that wrong. But I swear I heard him say that. So that confused me. But overall, it was an easy Dynamite to watch. The Chris Jericho Hook stuff just didn't do it for me. I will say that. I looked at my buddy, my roommate, when we were watching this, and I go, yeah, that was a lame segment. I'll just say it right there. I did not care for the Hook, Chris Jericho stuff, but overall, I thought it was a good show. Luke, what do you think of tonight's Dynamite before we get into everything?
I thought it was a pretty decent show. The fans really carried Dynamite. The fans were loud. They really did a lot for the show tonight, which now I feel like that's what AEW really needed.
Were they for the entire show? Because they seemed pretty quiet during that Mariah May Deonna Purrazzo match.
They helped when it was needed most. I'll say that. Gotcha.
But with that, we got a bunch of stuff to talk about. And I want to say thank you for joining us here. Twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Remember, if you are watching live on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can either help us out by hitting that donate button down below or by donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, remember, you can help us out by subscribing to the channel, one of two different ways. You can either subscribe with a tiered subscription, or you can subscribe with Amazon Prime, because remember, if you have Amazon Prime, then you have Prime Gaming. Prime Gaming gives you a lot of cool things like free games, free stuff for games, and you always get, one free subscription to any hiccups all of a sudden. Any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to throughout the month, and I'd greatly appreciate it if you did right here. Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Also, remember to head over to YouTube and help us out over there. Hit that subscribe button. That way you know when we post new videos. That way you know when we go live. That way you know when we, That way you know when we post to the community tab and so forth. Hit that join button to become a channel member and support the channel that way. Even at the $1 tier, we greatly appreciate anybody that supports, even at that $1 tier. And finally, if you want to get your comment, question, or concern read live on the air, do so by donating a super chat in the live chat. Finally, YouTube side of things, I want to thank everybody that has been subscribing and supporting. We've gotten way more new subscribers over the last month than we have in the last 5 to 6 months. Our views are up a lot as well. So again, I just really want to thank everybody that's been supporting, sharing the videos. We've had a lot more people sharing and reposting. So that is Very, very, very appreciated. I don't want it to go unappreciated or unnoticed. I have fully been checking all the analytics and the numbers, and it does show that, the hitting that share button is up, the views are up, and the commenting is even up. So all of that highly, highly, highly helps the channel, because then if YouTube sees you guys engaging more with the content, hitting that thumbs up button, hitting that share button, commenting, if YouTube sees that, they'll push the video out to new viewers that are not subscribed yet. And they've been doing that, getting us new subscribers. Because I can tell you guys right now, in the last month, and I just closed everything. Give me 1 second, guys. I hit the wrong button. I just closed out the chat and everything. But in the last month, we have gained, so we normally gain maybe around 300 new subscribers a month on average-ish over the last year. Each month is about 3. Sometimes we'll hit 4, but it's 3 or 4. This last month alone, 700 new subscribers. And then I think it was, let's see, the month before was another 500 subscribers. So I really do appreciate all the support, helping get the channel out there, helping us grow even more than we already are. And finally, remember to head over to the Epic Game Store. Head over to the Epic Game Store and hit that PW Unlimited code. Whether you're buying a new game, whether you're buying an old game, whether you're claiming a free game or getting bucks, he's going to ask you if you have a creator code, and you do. It's PWU NLIMITED for all your Epic Games and Epic Game Store purchases. You have till 8 a.m. tomorrow to claim the free game, which is Ghost Runner. And Ghost Runner is an awesome game. Then starting tomorrow, you have The Big Con, Grift of the Year Edition, and Town of Salem 2. Gonna be honest, haven't played either of those. I've seen the con, like The Big Con. I've seen it, never played it, never even heard of Town of Salem 2. But maybe you're getting some of the Coachella Lego stuff for Lego Fortnite. When you do, use this code PW Unlimited at checkout. So with that, pop back over here. Why is this not working? There we go. Pop back over here. And we have some, I guess you could say, breaking news on the AEW side of things when it comes to Ruby Soho. I'm going to pull this tweet up on the screen here in a second from Sean Rossap of Fightful. Let's go here. So Sean Rossap of Fightful did tweet out the following here, stating, quote, Ruby Soho reveals she's pregnant after AEW Dynamite. This is legit. Congrats to she and Angelo. Well, my first thing is, awesome, cool, congratulations. I didn't know they were a real couple. I thought it was all storyline stuff, but awesome to hear that she is pregnant. That means she's going to be gone for a while. No Ruby Soho on AEW television, but yeah, congratulations to her and Angelo Parker on the impending pregnancy. Well, not impending pregnancy, the impending birth of their baby. Any thoughts, Luke?
Honestly, congratulations to them. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's honestly going to be interesting now what they're going to do with Soraya, like by herself for a while now.
She's been doing that Ruby stuff for a little bit.
So now you got to like figure out something new for her to do.
Yep. But, and then go for it.
Unless you just like put her on the sideline until Ruby comes back, but well, I doubt it.
I doubt it, because what I was about to say is it's unknown how long Ruby's going to be gone for. Because you can say, all right, I'm out for 10 months. My baby's born. 3 months later, I'm coming back. Like Ronda Rousey and Lacey Evans did. But look at Becky Lynch. She did another like 6 months before she came back after her baby was born. Alexa Bliss, her baby was born 6 months ago, and she still hasn't even hinted at coming back. So it's all just dependent on how she will feel once the baby is born and what she wants to do. You want to spend more time at home with the child? Cool. You want to get back to wrestling? Cool. So again, congratulations to Ruby Soho and Angelo Parker on the impending birth of, I want to say, the first child for both. Because I haven't heard of Ruby ever having a kid, and I haven't heard of Parker having a child as well. Now, before we get into Dynamite, an interesting story broke about an hour and a half ago or so concerning Nyla Rose. And I'm going to read this here from F4W Online, as they did write the following. Give me 1 second here. So they did write the following. The Oklahoma State Athletic Commission has warned AEW about having Nyla Rose compete against cisgender women in the state. According to minutes from the OSAC's meeting from January, the commission voted to warn AEW about having Rose, who is a transgender woman, wrestle cisgender women in the state, or, quote, there will be punitive actions made against them. The promotion held its first ever event in the state back on December 20th for an AEW Dynamite / Rampage event. Rose defeated Alejandra Leon in a match that aired on ROH television. OSAC administrator Jim Miller was informed by a local promotion that AEW had used Rose in a match on the card. Miller said that he called AEW, telling them that what they had done was a violation of OSAC rules. Mike Bauer, the chairman of the OSAC, noted that wrestling applications in the state do not ask if someone has had gender reassignment surgery, while boxing, kickboxing, and MMA applications do. Bauer recommended that they update the wrestling application to include this question. So Nyla Rose has also responded to this on Twitter, as I'm going to pull her response up here as well. So let's go here. Nyla Rose. And Nyla Rose did tweet out the following. Whoops, and I just lost it. There we go. So Nyla Rose did tweet out the following in her response to this, stating, quote, "Who the fuck was it? Don't worry, Oklahoma. I'll find the dastardly transgender that," checks notes, "entertained fans. How dare they make people happy." Basically, she's saying, hey, fans don't have a problem with me wrestling other women, so why should you? Why should anybody else have an issue with it? So we'll see where this leads to. I don't know the next time AEW has a show set for the state of Oklahoma. I don't think they even have anything in Oklahoma announced. But what do you think on this, Lucas? I checked the AEW schedule.
Honestly, I wonder if AEW will have a response to this.
Right.
Like, I don't know. Like, I assume AEW might say something on like their social media about it. We don't know, but we'll see if AEW like says something about it, or if Tony Khan says it in the press, like at Dynasty, because I assume he will.
If he gets asked about it, yeah.
Someone's for sure going to ask him about it. Mm-hmm. And he will have an answer.
Well, actually, speaking about that, there is a pre-Dynasty media call tomorrow. So we could get asked about it tomorrow.
Are you on that or?
No, for some reason. And I don't know why. They don't send me the link for it, but then they send me the audio file right after. So I don't know. I got to reach out and be like, hey, why am I not getting this? Because there was somebody else, I don't want to name names, that was on all of them. And then for some reason, they weren't getting the link for them anymore with the last 2 or 3, just like me. So I don't know what's going on with all that. So I got to reach out after tomorrow. I should have today, but I didn't think about it. I had a busy day. But I will have the audio from it, and we'll be following live with whoever's live tweeting from it as well, because they don't allow us to stream those anymore. They used to when they first started. But regardless, this is a very interesting story that the state of Oklahoma is basically stating, hey, Nyla Rose, you're not allowed to wrestle women in our state.
I mean, wasn't the first press conference for AEW, wasn't that a Cody one?
Yeah, Cody did a couple of the media calls early on, and then Tony Khan took him over. Even before Cody left, Tony Khan took him over. But yeah, I remember being in at least 2, if not more, with Cody.
Did you ask me any questions?
No, and they never got to me because so many people are in and I think maybe they're limiting the number of people now, because I remember the first couple, there were so many people that was in that I talked to 3 or 4 people that were like, yeah, they didn't even get to me. Yeah, they didn't even get to me. So maybe they're just limiting how many people so they could try to get to everyone's question. And that was also when the first couple, they were like, oh, yeah, you can ask multiple questions. May ask 2 questions. Now they're limited to 1. But yeah, we'll follow this story very closely and see what comes of it. I don't really think much is going to come of it unless Tony Khan responds about it. Because as of right now, I just checked the AEW website and their schedule. Nothing right now listed for the state of Oklahoma. So, and I don't even know if Tony Khan knew about this before today when it came out on Twitter, or if he was just finding out about it today as well.
No, but like someone's for sure gonna ask him about it. And
they have to. I would assume
they have to. They have to. Someone's probably gonna ask him about it in the press conference before Dynasty.
Right.
If not, then someone's for sure gonna ask him about that after Dynasty.
Right. Yeah, I can see it. So, with all of that, give me one quick second here. Oh, okay. So with all of that, we got a Dynamite show to talk about, the final AEW Dynamite before this weekend's Dynasty pay-per-view on Sunday. And also, did you know we're getting another 3-hour block of AEW on Saturday? Last week we had Collision and Battle of the Belts. This week, they're giving us Collision and Rampage all on Saturday. 3 hours in a row.
Jesus.
Now, I will say, the ratings for the 3 hours last week actually weren't that bad for a Saturday night AEW. I thought they were going to be a lot worse. The Collision did 460,000 viewers, and the Battle of the Belts did 400,000 viewers. I can check how that stands up against like the previous Battle of the Belts. I think I have those notes. Let me see. Maybe I don't have the written down, the battle. I know I have all the Collision ratings noted. No, I don't have Battle of the Belts. I thought I did. But regardless, Dynamite or Collision last Saturday was up just a little bit. So on April 6th, when they went up against WrestleMania, they did, well, actually, now that I look at this, maybe it's not that good of a number. So the week before WrestleMania, they did 458,000 viewers for Collision. When they went head-to-head with WrestleMania, well, actually, no. They didn't go head-to-head with WrestleMania. Collision started right when WrestleMania ended because they were going up against, they were airing after basketball. 463,000. So that right there tells you they did not get a good lead-in from basketball if last week's Collision with no lead-in did better. So the 6th, they did 463. Last Saturday, they did 468. Which means basketball didn't help them at all. Having the NCAA tournament airing right before Collision didn't help at all, but it also didn't help that they started like 11 p.m. So,
I don't know. I don't really watch a lot of wrestling on Saturdays anymore. I used to, but I just don't anymore.
Yeah, I usually only watch Collision on Sundays. I watch it like Sunday mornings. Unless someone's like, hey, this just happened, check this out. Then I'll go back on my DVR and check it and rewind and whatnot. But typically I don't watch Collision until the Saturday. And the Collision shows have kind of just been nothing happening in shows anyways, if I'm going to be honest.
At first they started to mean something because
Right.
they had CM Punk there, but now Punk's gone. The people are like, why watch it?
Exactly.
And like, this is just my opinion. I don't want to speak for everyone, but I just feel like right now it's kind of hard to get like people to watch, like consistently watch wrestling on Saturdays now. Unless it's like a big pay-per-view or premium live event, then that's a whole different story. But like,
Right.
it's just hard to get people to consistently watch wrestling on Saturdays now.
Yeah. So as far as Dynamite tonight does go, the show does open up with the new IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. If you didn't know, last Friday actually, Jon Moxley did defeat Tetsuya Naito in Chicago at Windy City Riot to become the new IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. So Moxley comes out to the ring and said one of the first titles he ever won was at Salvation Army here in Indiana 20 years ago. He said, always swimming upstream, many people told Moxley that he could and couldn't do this. But his reaction to those is the same as it is now. Kiss my ass. Being great isn't about the other people, what other people say. It's about what is in your heart. Moxley shows off the new IWGP title, and the crowd chants, "You deserve it." He then puts over the history of the championship and his journey to getting it. He said he never thought that he would have the IWGP title. He said that he also never thought that he'd bring that title to Dynamite and to AEW. Moxley then starts going off about the Don Callis family, including Callis himself, who he called a creep. Crowd popped for that. Moxley talked about them putting a target on Bryan Danielson's back, meaning that you put a target on his as well. Moxley said for them to come and find him, and he'll be here all night. Moxley could run them over in the parking lot or bash them with a tire iron from behind. He said, but even if I do, you're never going to learn. He said, therefore, I want a match. And I want the baddest of them all. I want Powerhouse Hobbs next week here on Dynamite in the main event. So the match did get officially announced. Hobbs versus Moxley next week. He then just started talking more about Don Callis. He said the difference between Moxley. Yeah. He then said that Hobbs will realize that he will only ever be one of Jon Moxley's foes or something like that. The notes, like I said, I didn't write these notes, so I don't have this perfectly. But basically, he was just saying that he's going to make Hobbs bleed like he made Don Callis bleed many months ago. What do you think of this opening segment with Jon Moxley, the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion?
You know what I saw whenever he first won the belt?
What?
Moxley's the first ever wrestler to win the IWGP, WWE, and AEW World title.
But can you really make that as a huge accomplishment when AEW has only really been around for 5 years? I'm not trying to knock AEW. It's something. Not trying to knock AEW or anything, but it's like, of course he's going to be the first. I mean, who would have been there's only one other person who could have even done it, and that's Jericho. Nobody else can even try to do that other than Moxley. That's been, the AEW champion. If you look at all the AEW champions, the only ones that have been, and we're not counting Punk because he's gone, the only ones that have been WWE champion were Jericho and Moxley.
All Moxley's got to do now is win the TNA World title. Then he's got all 4.
True.
I don't think anyone's done that yet.
Nope.
I know the TNA, IWGP, and WWE World title. I think the first person to do that was Styles, I believe.
Yes, that would be AJ.
Which that was a big accomplishment right there.
Right? Because I know, if you look at IWGP and WWE, was that Hogan? Maybe. I don't know exactly. Hogan did hold a belt in New Japan, their world title, but I don't know what the lineage of that belt was. If that's the same, I think it is. So he would have been the first to hold the WWE and the IWGP. Lesnar has done it as well, and then AJ has held the WWE and the IWGP. Actually, you can excuse me. You could say AJ has held IWGP, WWE, TNA, and Ring of Honor. No.
Oh, yeah.
Never mind. No, I take it back. We looked this up last week. AJ only held the pure title in Ring of Honor, not the world title. Never mind.
He never held the world title?
Not in Ring of Honor. No. Now that I remember, AJ Styles.
That is actually surprising.
Because if you remember, his time in Ring of Honor was during his run in AEW or in TNA when they would allow him to go do stuff here and there. He was never full-time committed, kind of. When he first left TNA before he went to New Japan, he did a full-time commitment to them, short one. And then he went to New Japan. But AJ Styles has only ever held in Ring of Honor. He's a one-time pure champion. Him and Amazing Red had the World Tag Team titles, and then he also won the Pure Wrestling Championship Tournament. AJ Styles was the first ROH Pure Champion. So, yeah, you would think he had that ROH World title, but he didn't.
I'm trying to think if someone had the ROH, TNA, and World title, WWE World title as well. Because I think the first
Wait, say that again. Say that again. Which ones?
ROH, TNA, and WWE.
No, I don't think anybody did. The closest would be Punk. Well, Punk never won the TNA title. He was in TNA, but he was never like a world title level guy in TNA.
I know the first Ring of Honor champion to win a world title in WWE was Punk.
Yeah,
I
believe so.
I almost said Seth Rollins, but
no, Punk won the title before Seth because Punk won it well before Seth came.
Yeah, I don't think we'll have anyone achieve that goal actually.
Right.
Because Ring of Honor is basically dead.
Kinda. Yeah.
And like the only way someone would actually accomplish that, Punk for some reason went to TNA and won the world title.
Yeah.
Or Seth Rollins. Who knows?
I don't think TNA can afford either of them.
Yeah, I don't think they can. I mean, I know they wanted Punk, but they couldn't afford him.
Right. As we move forward, we go to Mercedes Moné in the back. She brings up how somebody attacked her last week in the dark. She assumed that it may have been Julia Hart because the lights went out, but maybe it was somebody else that wanted her to think it was Julia Hart. Then she said something very, very interesting. She stated that whoever this was, she thinks that she may end up facing when she's finally healthy or something along those lines. She said fully healthy at Double or Nothing. So did Mercedes slyly tell us that she's still not cleared and that's why she hasn't wrestled yet for AEW? Because she again said, when I am fully healed and able to wrestle for the TBS championship at Double or Nothing. So to me, that sounds like the reason she hasn't done anything like super physical is because she's not fully cleared for a full match yet, which is crazy to think. Am I thinking out of the box here? Am I wrong?
Didn't Fightful like tweet something about that?
I think they just tweeted that many thought she would be cleared by January and she wasn't. I think that's what they had said. And if they said something else, I missed it. What the last I said or saw was, I guess they spoke with Rocky Romero, who said that New Japan still wanted to use her and they wanted to try and get her for Wrestle Kingdom this year, but she wasn't cleared for Wrestle Kingdom. So, I don't know. But the way she spoke tonight made it sound like she's still not cleared and that they think she'll be cleared by Double or Nothing. I guess that's the hope. But we'll see. That wasn't the last we saw of her tonight.
Do you think she'll get physical at Dynasty?
There's a chance. I think there's a really good chance. But again, like tonight, she ran down to the ring. She jumped in the ring with that steel chair and did nothing. So, is she allowed to do something? Is she allowed to do nothing? Because I'm thinking back to, when she debuted at Big Business, I haven't even seen her take a single bump that I can remember. Am I wrong in remembering? Has she taken any bumps at all?
I think her debut she did.
Let us know in the live chat if you remember or if we're wrong or not thinking correctly. But has Mercedes taken a single bump in AEW?
I think she did. Her debut she did. Because I think when she had to save Willow Nightingale.
Oh, when Willow accidentally hit her or whatever? Because I remember.
I don't think he accidentally hit her, but I think Willow was getting attacked by Julia and Sky Blue, and Mercedes had to make the save.
Let me see. I could look it up. Let's see. Mercedes Moné. Let's see. Here we go. Found the clip. Let's see if this has got it. She came down to make the save for Willow. She knocked down Sky Blue in the ramp. Okay, so she did. Because that weird finisher she has, she did hit Julia Hart with it. So she took a big bump doing her finisher. But other than that, I haven't seen her take a single bump. I thought she did something physical in her debut, but I guess from what it sounds like, she's not cleared to have a full match yet. But moving forward, speaking of Julia Hart and Willow Nightingale, we had a mixed tag team match. It was Adam Copeland, the TNT champion, and Willow Nightingale taking on Brody King and the TBS champion, Julia Hart. So, where am I? Copeland made his entrance when we see Willow Nightingale is down backstage and being checked on by Stokely Hathaway, Chris Statlander, and the Doctor. So basically, Cope's got to go at it alone. Which in mixed tag rules means he's facing Brody King, and Julia Hart may try to get involved, but can't really do much. So Nightingale says she was fine, tried to get up, and then the camera cut to Copeland, and the lights go out. Brody King appears from behind and attacks Copeland as Julia Hart made her way down the ring. King then delivered a running crossbody, sandwiching Copeland against the barricade. Copeland told referee Aubrey Edwards he was okay, and so the match officially begins, and we go straight to a commercial break. When we return from said commercial break, Copeland fought out of the corner and hit a top rope clothesline for the reset. Both then got up, and at the same time, they tried to go for like punching each other. Copeland staggered King in the corner as there was a series of clotheslines and big boots. There was an impaler DDT that connected, but King kicked out of two. Copeland then followed this with a blockbuster out of the corner as he signaled for the spear, but King turned him inside out with a lariat. King then missed a cannonball, and Willow Nightingale finally made her way down to the ring, with Chris Statlander and Stokely Hathaway on the ramp cheering her on. Nightingale made it in and started going after Brody King. She hit him with a crossbody off the second rope. Hart then tried to get away from her. King was then flattened by a Copeland spear and a cannonball in the corner by Nightingale. Hart then appeared and decked Willow with a chain wrapped around her hand as the referee wasn't looking. Copeland then tackled King to the floor. Hart applied the Heartless, and an unconscious Willow Nightingale passes out, and Aubrey calls for the finish. The House of Black pick up the victory. It was okay. But is this telegraphing that since Julia got the win tonight, and this is, AEW doesn't always book like this. This is more WWE booking. Because Julia won tonight, does that mean Willow's winning at the pay-per-view and becoming the champion? That's what I assumed anyways, to build to the Mercedes match. What did you think of the match and what the outcome could be foreshadowing?
My whole thing with this, like, when the House of Black and Adam Copeland thing, like, first started, at first thought was that Malachi Black would eventually challenge Copeland for the TNT belt.
Exactly.
They got Brody King, like, keep fighting Malachi. No, not Malachi, but Adam Copeland. Now it's like, okay, who in House of Black is going to challenge Copeland for the belt?
Right? And so
that's my whole thing with this.
Does Copeland even have a match at the pay-per-view? I'm looking right here. Hold on.
Yeah, he does. It's him, Kingston, and Mark Briscoe taking on House of Black.
The six-man tag, which makes no sense at all. Why wouldn't you have him defend the title? Like, come on.
That makes no sense at all. Like,
yeah, come on.
Why would they throw Kingston and Mark Briscoe in there as well?
Briscoe makes sense because he's been feuding with the House of Black. That makes sense. But then Eddie's just cool to be teaming with the guy that beat him for the Ring of Honor title not 3 weeks ago. I don't know about that. We talked about that last week or the week before when Kingston was like, yeah, we had a dog fight, but now I'm going to team up with you. I don't care. Like, what? You should be pissed at that guy for beating you. Anyways, post-match, Mercedes Moné stormed down to the ring with a chair in hand. Hart quickly scurried away with King. Moné looked like she was going to clock Willow Nightingale with it before Copeland slid back in. She looked at Adam Copeland and was like, sorry, and just drops the chair. Like, I didn't do anything. Don't get mad at me. Sorry, Papa. And commentary talked about how Moné wasn't over how Willow broke her ankle last year and that she still has some bad blood for Willow Nightingale. So they're building towards that Willow. I'm pretty sure Willow wins at the pay-per-view, and they're building towards Willow and Mercedes at Double or Nothing in Vegas.
I think Willow has to win.
Against Julia or Mercedes?
Julia.
Yeah, same here.
But against Mercedes, I'd say Mercedes has to win since it's her first match in AEW.
Right. but then it's also a title match, and it's like, do we really want her to have the title that early? Granted, you people are going to make the Okada comparison of, well, Okada had a title his third match. Yeah, but Okada actually worked a couple matches first. I would like to see Mercedes work a few AEW matches, even if it's a couple tag matches, and then challenge and win the belt. So it's just like, show this audience what you can do first. And granted, WWE's probably going to do the same thing with Julia, and I don't like that either, but we'll see.
They're probably going to do, the thing with Julia is they're probably going to have her be the first ever NXT Women's North American Champion.
So you think they're waiting all the way till July to crown that first champion? Because I think there's like, well, no, there's the Battleground pay-per-view, and then I think Heatwave. Because I thought they would crown the champion at Battleground. Which, if I'm thinking correctly, that's the one that's going to be at the UFC Apex.
Unless at Stand Deliver they just announced it, then like at Battleground they announced like how they're going to like crown the first champion. Maybe.
Or kick off a tournament at Battleground or something with like the first tournament match, maybe. I don't know. It'll be interesting. Now, that's the thing. If they do a tournament, the word is that this would be Julia's first match. So, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Julia's got a couple Marigold matches she's going to do first. I know their first show is May 20th. So, we'll see how that all goes with her in Japan. And then she'll come to WWE June or July. Late June, early July.
Are they waiting on her debuting so she could like speak English? I don't know if she speaks fluent English yet, but
so I think she can say a few things in English because I have heard her talk in English, not well, but that's not what they're waiting on. She told WWE basically that she's going to help Rossio Gallo with his new company as far as like being on his first few shows, and then she'll come to WWE. So she's agreed and maybe even already signed with WWE. I think she may have signed over WrestleMania weekend. But she is going to work a couple matches for Rossio Gallo's new company, Dream Fight Star. I think it's Dream Star Fighting Marigold. Weird ass name. Just call it Marigold. She's going to work for Marigold. I think she's got like they said a handful of matches, and then she'll be in NXT. But also the word is they're not worried about her English because they have people at the PC that can help her with that. Because if you remember, WWE helped John Cena learn Mandarin, which is close enough to Chinese, Japanese, and all that. So, moving on. Renee Paquette is backstage with the AEW World Champion Samoa Joe, who said Swerve Strickland is more of a nuisance than a worry and a worried adversary, or a worthy adversary. He said no matter how many times he puts Strickland in the dirt, he keeps rising up, which reminds him more of a punching bag than a future world champion. Paquette talked about Strickland and Prince Nana holding up the title at the end of last week's show, and Joe said he was worried about how his title needed to be disinfected after last week, as they know where Nana has been. Joe calls Strickland a choke artist who has come close in the past to winning the big one, but comes up a little short every time. He said history will repeat itself at Dynasty, and Joe will cement his legacy as the greatest AEW champion of all time. Strickland, again, he says, is a choke artist, and at Dynasty, Joe will be the one that chokes him out. So I like this promo. I thought it was really good. I thought it was effective. Joe, always great on the mic. Any thoughts?
Joe has always been good on the mic, even like before he went to WWE. Like that was always his biggest strength of his promos.
When he was in TNA, he was one of, if not their best talker. He was one of their best promo guys in TNA.
Probably their best.
Well, I don't know, because I'm trying to think who else. I mean, Jeff Jarrett was always good on promos in TNA. They eventually got Kurt Angle, who was pretty good on promos in TNA. AJ was okay back then on promos. He's gotten better.
I don't know. AJ, I never really thought AJ was even that great with promos.
Well, that's why I said he was okay.
I'd say even when in WWE, I didn't think he was all that great either.
But yeah, Joe was one of the best promos TNA had for sure. But I don't know. Something as a kid always drew me to liking Jeff Jarrett in TNA. I was like, man, this is like the best bad guy. I like this guy as a bad guy. Like I was always a big, like when it was Jeff Jarrett, Gail Kim, and America's Most Wanted. I loved that group.
I always thought Robert Roode and James Storm were good on promos.
Beer Money. Yep. That was another good one.
Pretty good.
Yep. That was another really good one. Once Storm left Chris Harris, they were no longer the America's Most Wanted, and then he went and did Beer Money. Yep. But that's when Chris Harris left, went to WWE. He was Braden Walker, flunked out there, and then, yeah, that was the whole thing.
Jeez, I totally forgot about James Storm. What is he even doing now? Is he even wrestling still?
Yeah, James Storm still wrestles. Let me see.
I thought he moved to acting now.
I don't know. Let me see. James Storm's cage match. What was his last match? I know he still wrestles. Yeah, he just his last match was at the beginning of March. Him and Chris Harris teamed up as America's Most Wanted to take on Matt Riddle and Rob Van Dam on March 9th. And then he worked a match a couple weeks before that. He's keeping his name out there. He's not wrestling a whole lot, but he's wrestling enough to keep, in ring shape and stuff. He worked a TNA match last year. It was him and Chris Harris against Eric Young and Scott D'Amore. No, it was him and Chris Harris and Eric Young and Scott D'Amore against the Design, Kenny King and Sheldon Jean. Yeah. Oh, he did one TNA match last year too. But moving forward, we got a video package. It briefly shows off the history of FTR and the Young Bucks ahead of their match at Dynasty. Matthew and Nicholas, they call for Tony Khan to cut the package short as it's not up to their liking. So basically, are we supposed to think that they are Tony Khan's boss? Because this is now the second and if not third time we've seen them in gorilla position telling Tony Khan what to do. So that's very interesting. Matthew said that they'll put it up on social media and cut FTR out of the video package. Nicholas,
actually,
go for it.
Actually, sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good. You're good.
Unless, like, as far as telling Tony Khan what to do, what if it's like the motive, like, it's 3 against 1? What's Tony gonna do about it?
I mean, he's the boss. He could just fire them. But
but it's like, but maybe it's supposed to be like those 3 are like.
I get it. Yeah.
But yeah.
Where was I? Nicholas said that tonight they're gonna beat up FTR's buddy Daniel Garcia, while Kazuchika Okada called Pac a dead man who will not make it a Dynasty. So this match kind of did and didn't make sense. The match they're doing on Saturday makes so much more sense than the match they should have done tonight. On Saturday, it's the Elite against Pac and FTR. That's the match they should have done here tonight. The Elite versus Pac and FTR. I don't know why we needed Penta and Daniel Garcia in this at all. It made no sense. The match was fun. I liked the match, but I don't know. The Elite walk off and call for their elevator entrance. The Young Bucks come out. I forget which one it was, but one of them had a coin. They got to the bottom of the ramp. They flipped the coin, and then Okada's music hit. Okada came out with his own entrance as well. And it looked like we were going to get Pac and Okada to start things off, but the Bucks attacked Pac from behind. Okada then took out Penta and Garcia on the apron. Pac quickly fired back up on Matthew, and Penta made the tag and suffered a double team from the Death Triangle members. Also, back to the Willow Copeland mixed tag. There was a cool spot where Brody King had Copeland, I think, in like a front headlock or whatever. And so Copeland stuck his leg out and Willow tagged the leg. I'm like, oh, that's pretty clever. I haven't seen that one before. And I saw people on Twitter going, is that legal? And I go, it's as legal as somebody slapping somebody on the back for a tag. So yeah, I forgot to mention that earlier. I thought that was such a clever tag that I've never seen before. I can't reach you with my hand, but my leg's long enough to reach.
Do you know what my favorite tag of all time in a tag team match was?
Huh.
I can't remember who they were up against, but it was like Braun Strowman and Finn Balor were teaming in a tag team match. Finn couldn't. Oh,
you're breaking up. And you froze. Oh, wait, I hear something. You're still frozen, though. And you're back. You're back.
Did you hear me though?
No. You said Braun Strowman and Finn Balor, and then you cut out.
So it was a tag team match. Braun Strowman and Finn were teaming with each other.
Okay.
Finn couldn't reach Braun, so Braun got in the ring, grabbed Finn, put him in the corner. Braun got out of the ring and then tagged Finn. That Braun was legal.
Huh? I don't remember that at all. That's funny though.
I can't remember who they were like teaming against, but I remember watching that. I was like, oh my god, how is this the first time anyone is ever doing this?
Right. If this is the match, it was Finn Balor and Braun Strowman against Bobby Lashley and Lio Rush.
I think that was it. Yeah.
That's the only time I can see them teaming up in just a regular tag match. Well, there's another one. Braun Strowman and Finn Balor versus Kevin Owens and Jinder Mahal. There's that as well that I see. Those are the two tag matches I see. But as far as this tag match does go, 6-man tag, trios matches they like to call it. Where were we? Penta avoided the Bucks double team, sent Nicholas packing and delivered a thrust kick to Matthew as Garcia made the tag and ran wild. There was a hip thrusting at Nicholas's face after delivering 10 corner punches. Garcia was sent to the floor after Matthew and Okada, but he ate a running kick from Nicholas as the Elite were in control as we went to a commercial break. As we come back, Matthew took over on commentary during the break with the house mic. Garcia then mounted a comeback, but Matthew tagged in, saying that he has this. Matthew trash-talked Garcia, who said to show why they hired him. Garcia hit a stalling back suplex, and Matthew, with Matthew saying they're good before impact. Pac then made the tag and hit a series of snap German suplexes, and then a top rope missile dropkick on the Bucks. Pac followed this up with a massive moonsault off the top. He hit that to the outside on the Bucks. He then stared down Okada in the middle of the ring. Okada waited for Nicholas to attack from behind before tagging in and hit a triple team corner attack. Okada delivered the air raid crash, but Penta broke the count. Penta then tagged in to become the legal man. He hit a flying crossbody off the top rope to Okada, a sling blade on the Bucks, and a Made in Japan on Okada for a 2. Penta then tried a wheelbarrow assisted move from Okada into a double DDT on the Bucks. There was a counter into a Northern Light suplex. The match then broke down as Pac flew in with a slingshot cutter on Matthew, made the legal tag, and finally went face-to-face with Okada as a lot of stuff was going on here, as you can tell from these notes. A lot of stuff. It was just bang, 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 bang. Thrust kick to Okada as Pac went to the top, but Nicholas swept out the legs as Paul Turner turned around just at the right time to look at Garcia for some reason, so he didn't see the illegal attack. Garcia then finally made the tag and ran right into Okada's drop kick, but avoided the tombstone and hit a jackknife pin for a 2. Garcia then ran in the corner, and he got attacked from the Bucks. He then stumbled into a tombstone from Okada as Penta suffered one as well. There was a super kick party that followed by the Rainmaker connecting on Garcia, and then the pin from Okada, 1, 2, 3. The Elite do pick up the victory. Pac, Penta, and Garcia do lose. Again, a lot of stuff going on in this match. A lot of stuff to try and follow. Yeah, before we get to the post-match, what do you think of the match itself? I liked it, but there was just, I think, a little too much going on at one point. It got a little too hectic for me.
I mean, it was okay. I wouldn't say it was bad. A little too much going on to where it was hard to keep track.
Right. So
where the heck is Phoenix? Is he injured?
So I think so, but then I also thought I saw he was working some indie show recently. So Ray, Phoenix. Let me see. Yeah, Phoenix hasn't worked a match since October 10th, 2023, when he lost the International Championship to Orange Cassidy. Ray Phoenix injury. I swear I thought I saw like a he versus Penta match coming up or something. Let me look here. Okay, so it's not they're going to work against each other. Well, I don't know. But Penta and Phoenix are actually running a show to get like they're promoting a show in the old Lucha Underground building. That's maybe what I saw. Not that they're going to be working, like not that Phoenix is working it, but he's going to be there because they're okay, that's what this is. Del Zero Miedo and Rey Fenix, the Republic of Lucha, will be holding a show called Hit the Lights in the Temple on June 1st, 2024. So that may be what I saw, and I thought, because it's them looking at each other on the poster, that may be why I thought it was going to be them fighting each other. But yeah, I think Phoenix is still out with an injury.
Yeah, because I was like, geez, that guy's been out for a while.
Right? Since last October.
Wait, where does Daniel Garcia fit in all of this?
He's like, quote unquote, friends of FTR. That's what the Bucks said tonight. We're going to beat up your friend Daniel Garcia. It doesn't make sense, really. But it's AEW. What do we expect? So we get some post-match stuff here when we want to talk about Garcia. Garcia suffered a EVP trigger, for good measure, as the Bucks brought a ladder into the ring, slamming Garcia onto it. With Garcia sandwiched in the ladder, Matthew was going to dive off the top when Pac ran in with a ring bell hammer. It was a nice little callback to the Best of 7 series last year with the Death Triangle and the Elite. Okada and the Bucks bailed. Pac then stared down Okada. FTR nowhere to be found tonight at all. Also, there was at one point, Matthew I think he was beating up Garcia on the outside. I could be wrong here. I don't remember who it was. But he was beating up somebody right in front of somebody in the front row that had a We Miss Kenny Omega sign. Which there's still no timetable on Kenny's return.
Only thing I know about Kenny right now is he's streaming on Twitch.
Yep. And he actually said that he may actually need surgery for his diverticulitis. He was trying to avoid surgery. Now the latest update he gave on his Twitch stream was that he might need surgery. There was also a sign in the crowd that said Roman fears Ospreay in like the second or third row. Shit. Roman Reigns is out there filming a movie right now with Seth Rogen and who's the other guy in this movie? I know Keke Palmer's in it, but it's Seth Rogen and Keanu Reeves. He's filming a movie with Seth Rogen and Keanu Reeves. Yeah, Hollywood Roman.
Hey, maybe he's gonna be the next Rock, retire from WWE, go to Hollywood.
I don't know. We got Rock, Cena, and Batista have been the best 3. Maybe Roman can be number 4. I don't know, because we've seen Roman in Hobbs and Shaw, but his role was very, very small there. And then I've seen him do something on a Nickelodeon show where, again, it was a very small role. He didn't have many lines. I don't know how well of an actor Roman is. He does well in his bad guy role in WWE, but that's him perfecting and playing one character for 4 years almost. I don't know how good of an actor he would be. Like I said, I don't know if you saw the photo that got posted yesterday by Keke Palmer, but he's in some movie. It's a comedy written by, let me see, who wrote this movie? It's a big name that wrote it. It is, let me see. Movie is, now I can't even find, oh no, it's not called Good Riddance. It's called Good Fortune. I don't know why I said Good Riddance. Written and directed by Aziz Ansari, who's a big name actor. He was in what's that show? It's on the tip of my tongue. Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue. What's the show he was in? Parks and Rec. He was in Parks and Rec. And I think he did a couple episodes of Scrubs. And he's been in a bunch of stuff. But that's what most people know him from, is Parks and Rec.
Well, I know, Roman, he didn't really talk in Hobbs and Shaw. I don't remember.
Well, that's why I said he had a very small role. I've only seen the movie once.
Because I remember watching it, he didn't really talk. He was mainly one of the background guys that was family with The Rock.
Right. Yeah, so I don't know how big or small of a role he has in this movie, but the movie's got a great cast. It's got Keanu Reeves, it's got Seth Rogen, Keke Palmer, Sandra Oh, Aziz Ansari, and then Joe Anawai is in it as well. But his role is unknown at this time, as we didn't even know he was going to be in this movie until Keke Palmer posted that video on her Snapchat yesterday. She was on set. He literally goes from, we got some jambalaya here on set, and then all of a sudden there's a picture of Roman Reigns sitting in like what looks like a vault or like a bank vault. He's in this chair. He's got this like jacket on, no shirt under it, and then there's like girls around him. One girl's holding like a championship belt looking thing. Pretty interesting. I don't know, but it's a comedy movie that is filming now, and there's no release date for it yet. So we'll see. It's being put out by Lionsgate, so it's got a good distributor behind it. We move forward. We had a segment that I didn't care for at all. Taz brokers a meeting between Chris Jericho and Hook. So, yeah, I thought this segment kind of sucked. If I'm going to be completely honest, I didn't care for this one bit. Taz was already in the ring as Jericho made his entrance to boos, while Hook received loud cheers. Taz says that he's only here to make sure things go well and go nice after what happened last week. Then he wants to give the floor to Jericho. Jericho gets booed again and then said, last week, Shibata was just collateral damage. I texted him, we're all good, it's whatever. But he felt like Hook wasn't listening to him as much as he should have been. Jericho kept bringing up the learning tree, and everyone has listened to his pearls of wisdom in the past, like MJF, Orange Cassidy, Eddie Kingston, John Moxley, Will Ospreay, and others. Others who have entered the, quote, Jericho Vortex, which Jericho Vortex, he is trademarked. So that's going to be a thing, I guess, going forward. I don't freaking know. He says that they've all entered the Jericho Vortex and has left better for it. Jericho then brought up Wizard Mountain, which got crickets because no one knows the hell that means. I don't even know what. Do you know what Wizard Mountain is?
Sounds like a video game.
I'm going to Google it. Wizard Mountain. I know what Witch Mountain is. Wizard Mountain.
Oh, it's actual mountain, actually.
Wizard Mountain is a volcanic cinder cone which forms an island at the west end of Crater Lake in Crater Lake National Park in Oregon. Okay. I know what Crater Lake is. I don't know what Wizard Island is. Oh, that's Wizard Island, not Wizard Mountain. Yeah, I don't know what Wizard Mountain is. Oh, well. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, nobody reacted to that line. He then kept bringing up the learning tree, the learning tree. He then said that, Hook needs to learn from him. And Hook was just like, no, I don't want your help. Jericho was like, that's stupid. Taz tried to intervene, but Jericho cut him off and said that he's doing something. And Taz should have done 30 years ago and give his kid some guidance. And I go, your kid ain't even 30 freaking years old. So what does that even mean? Anyways, Taz kept trying to interject, but Jericho said Hook has had people telling him that he's the future and a future world champion, but he's not as good as people make him think he is. Taz tried to step in once more, and basically Jericho was like, you had people in your lives giving you bad advice, and you've had, people all of your lives not really there for you and have your best interest in hand, but I do. Taz then once again gets mad. It's like, excuse me? And Jericho pushes Taz. Taz falls down up against the ropes. Excalibur then goes, oh my God, Taz has been dealing with some knee injury, with some knee problems over the last couple of years. This can't be good. So Taz is down, clutching his knee. And then Hook grabs Jericho by the collar, pushes him up in the corner, and he's like, hey, this doesn't need to happen. We don't need to do any of this. We're not doing this. I'm done. Get out of my ring. And Jericho's like, excuse me? What? He's like, get out of my ring. Go. And Jericho's like, fine. And he hesitates. He looks back, and then he hesitates again. And Hook's just like, go. Get out of my ring. And then eventually Jericho leaves. And he slowly walks up the steps, or up the ramp. And I'm like, what the fuck did we just watch? Any thoughts?
I don't really know.
Yeah,
I don't.
This wasn't really that good at all.
Yeah.
So, But they go backstage to Renee Paquette, who's with Swerve Strickland, who wanted his reaction to Samoa Joe calling him a choke artist. Strickland questioned if Paquette thinks that he is a choke artist, which Paquette denies, and Strickland agrees, saying that he's always fallen forward to success. Over the past year, he's fallen into a coffin, stapled, and has fallen into a coffin, has been stapled, and his body has been thrown into barbed wire, knocked in the face with a chain, and he always gets back up. He said it's his military upbringing, and Joe can call Strickland anything he wants, but this Sunday, Joe will be calling him the new AEW World Champion. Strickland then took his jacket off, looked right into the camera, and said that he'll tell Joe why he's so confident face-to-face later tonight. He basically says, hey, by the end of the night, I'm going to see Joe in that ring. I liked it. Just like the Joe segment before it. Both were really, really good. Then we get Deonna Purrazzo versus Mariah May. It was an okay match. I can't call it bad, but I can't call it great. Crowd wasn't really behind much of this match. And yeah, it was just all right. Perazzo thwarted an early attack and delivered a knee lift into an armbar attempt. May bailed to the floor. Storm saved May from a baseball slide, allowing May to gain control, slamming Perazzo into the barricade on the outside. They go back into the ring. May tried a shoulder block through the ropes, but Perazzo caught her and hit a draping arm breaker. May quickly regained control, tried corner head scissors. It was blocked, so she just sent Perazzo crashing to the outside as we went to a commercial break. Back from the break, Perazzo was back in control, and May fought back with the forearm exchange. May then hit a home run forearm, but tried to change things up, and this time Perazzo hit an overhead throw into a submission, but May got to the ropes to break the hold. Perazzo then connected on a pump kick for a near fall, as May floated over a powerbomb attempt, sending Perazzo into the corner, delivering a sweet cheek music. There was a spinning DDT that got May a 2, as she wanted the Mayday, but Perazzo countered into a roll-up for the flash of victory. Before we get into the post-match with Thunder Rosa and whatnot, what do you think of the match itself?
I mean, okay, it was kind of just there, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah. Crowd was dead for most of it. There's a couple of times where they'd hit a couple moves and the crowd would be like, hey, but never really pops or anything that I noticed.
I think even the crowd knew that, like, this is just there. Like, they didn't really expect anything much from this match.
What's the use of the match? This match was to build up the pay-per-view match that neither of these women are in. It's Toni Storm and Thunder Rosa, so it's all about the post-match, not the actual match itself. Speaking of the post-match, Storm immediately jumps in and they attack Perazzo 2-on-1. Thunder Rosa then comes out to make the save. She comes out and immediately just clocks Luther. He falls to the floor. He jumps in the ring and tries to dispatch of both Storm and May. Perazzo gets up and yells at Thunder Rosa for helping her. She says she didn't want her help. When May then pulled Perazzo to the floor, Storm tried to hit the Storm Zero, but Rosa escaped, trapped Storm in a camel clutch, and smeared lipstick all over her face. Tony Schiavone said that this wasn't even Storm's color, which Excalibur hilariously pointed out was a great observation. So, yeah, it was all about the post-match. The match actually didn't matter for anything. It was all about getting to that post-match with Thunder Rosa technically standing tall over Toni Storm.
I mean, Thunder Rosa, she ain't winning the match at Dynasty. She's not winning.
I don't think so.
I'd say the person that'll most likely take the belts off her is Mariah May.
Yeah, I think that's the match that they're building towards eventually.
Like, are they gonna do it at Double or Nothing, All In, or
I don't know. All in would be nice because she'd be like, she's from the UK. Have her win the title at the UK in the UK. Mariah May is from London, England, or technically she's from Islington, London, United Kingdom. I mean, her winning the title in the UK would actually not be a bad call. Her and Toni Storm at all in. I'd wait. So they act as... I like Toni Storm with Mariah May better than when it was just Toni Storm and Luther. So it's like, why end it now? It's working. I'm not a big, huge fan of the Toni Storm gimmick because it comes off too goofy for me. But I think it's better when she has Mariah since the addition of Mariah May, if that makes sense. Because I just feel like another female for her to work off of has been helping a lot. Renee Paquette's backstage with Switchblade Jay White and the Guns. And they told her to sound more excited to be around the Bang Bang Gang. White said that they'd been having a blast the last few months and said that they'll fulfill their destiny at Dynasty as the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass have what they want. So it'll be AEW Trios titles versus the ROH six-man tag titles at Dynasty. Winner takes all. He says, I can only hope finally put this to rest. So there we go. We're going to hopefully merge those titles because within AEW and Ring of Honor, you don't need both. Like, I get having Ring of Honor and AEW tag titles, but it's like they really don't do anything with the ROH six-man titles anyways. So merge those into the AEW Trios Championships and we're good to go.
They need to merge like another Ring of Honor title with the AEW title as well.
Which one?
Be like, I want to say the TV title as well.
Well, I mean, I feel like they can't now because they only have the women's TV title, so they kind of have to keep the men's TV title as well.
Or the pure title, honestly.
They haven't really been doing much with that, but we know that Wheeler Yuta's the pure champion and he's been out injured, so strip the fucker of the belt.
I totally forgot that he was the champion.
I mean, I'm pretty sure. Let me go to Ring of Honor's website.
I know he beat Shibata for the belt.
I know he had the belt.
I think he beat him at like Rampage or something.
Wheeler Yuta is the current Ring of Honor pure champion. But it's like, okay, he hasn't worked a match in how long? Wheeler Yuta. When's the last time Wheeler Yuta worked a match? It's been a while. Wheeler Yuta hasn't worked a match since January 10th when he lost to Eddie Kingston on Rampage. So, I don't even know what his injury is.
I don't think anyone really knows. I don't think he even said or.
Yeah, it hasn't been reported that I've seen unless I missed it. But so we had the Bang Bang Gang. They had their speech here, and then the Acclaimed had a rebuttal. The Acclaimed and Daddy Ass backstage, and they said it's nice to know the Bang Bang Gang's intentions are now clear. They accept their challenge. Bowens then talks about his own gold bat to choke on. Caster then claims his Twink Blade, or calls him Twink Blade, and made a tag team challenge for the collision show this Saturday. The Acclaimed versus the Guns. Then we had Orange Cassidy versus Shane Taylor. Not really sure why we needed this match, but whatever. I guess it was more the post-match. A lot of stuff felt like, okay, the match doesn't matter. It's what happens after the match tonight. Am I wrong in thinking that? There's a lot of post-match angles.
I have noticed that tonight, which is kind of weird. Like if you're having like one or two post-match things, fine. But like if you're making it like a whole thing in one show, I'm like, come on, that's just lazy in my opinion. It really is lazy. Yeah. If you're just doing it for every match and like
once you do it 3 times and you still got like 2-3 more matches, then the fans are gonna go, okay, this is the trend. So we don't care about the matches. It's all about what happens after the match.
Right.
So Excalibur brought up how Shibata is in Japan, Rocky Romero is in Mexico, Chuck Taylor is off the road due to injury. So with Trent Beretta turning his back on Cassidy, Cassidy is here all alone and has no friends. Anthony Ogogo and Lee Moriarty get up on the apron, but Taylor told them back off as Cassidy has no one. Cassidy puts his hands in his pockets and delivers a drop kick and a kip up before a spinning DDT, only to get caught in a Tower of a London stunner. Taylor then took the referee, allowing Moriarty to attack. As back inside the ring, Taylor trapped Cassidy in the corner and delivered a violent overhead chop. Taylor then controlled during commercial break, but when we returned, Cassidy fired up out of the corner. Taylor took the ref, allowing the numbers game to catch up to Cassidy, as he was distracted enough to allow Taylor to press choke him in the middle of the ring. Cassidy then blocked a DDT, but suffered a stun dog millionaire as Cassidy hit 2 dives onto Ogogo and Moriarty at ringside. Taylor then ducked an orange punch and leveled Cassidy with the comeback lariat for a 2. Taylor then avoided a Taylor then avoided a beach break, but Cassidy hit an orange punch. Taylor then answered with a shot of his own. Cassidy threw a home run shot and another orange punch to pick up the victory. So then, post-match. Moriarty attacks. A go-go hits a big left hand and right in the gut, crumbling Cassidy. Taylor was going to lay out Cassidy when Christopher Daniels and Matt Sydal would run out to make the save, but they were laid out by chair shots from Trent Beretta, who attacked as Taylor flattened Cassidy before Moriarty applied a Border City stretch. Shane Taylor Promotions and stood tall and raised their flag over a fallen Orange Cassidy. So what is the thing with whenever somebody needs some help, it's Christopher Daniels and Matt Sydal always coming out to make the save? Are they the I know he's the fallen angel, but are they also the guardian angels of AEW or something?
I guess so.
This is like the 3rd or 4th time in the last couple of months that I've noticed this. That like somebody needs help, they don't got friends, so they run out. What?
That could be a new tag team name for them. The Guardian Angel.
Not a bad idea. I mean, the fallen angel is your guardian angel.
Like, well, we will protect you since you don't have any friends.
Also, interestingly, Jay White and Jay White versus Anthony Bowens, I thought was announced for this show, and it never happened. Let me double check on that because I remember seeing it announced at one point. Let me see. Jay White, Bowens. Because I thought that match was announced for tonight, and then it never took place, and maybe I just saw it wrong. Let me check something. Because like the next thing here is the Will Ospreay Claudio match. But let me double check this. Maybe I'm just thinking wrong. But I was thinking that earlier. I'm like, wait. Oh yeah, I am wrong. Bowens and White wasn't announced. Unless that happened like already. No. I don't know. For some reason I thought Anthony Bowens and Jay White was announced for tonight's show. But I guess I was wrong. Yeah, yep, I guess I was wrong. Huh. Let me look at something. Jay White, Anthony Bowens. Maybe the match already happened and I just forgot about it. No? I don't know why I thought that match got announced for some reason. Oh well. So we go to our main event match, not our main event of the show, but our main event match. And it is Will Ospreay against Claudio Castagnoli, Don Callis on commentary. Castagnoli charged right at the bell, but Ospreay avoided a Ricola bomb. Ospreay tried a head scissors, only to be planted with a backbreaker from Castagnoli. Ospreay then fought back with a quick Hurricane Rana, sending Castagnoli to the floor, but Ospreay was quick to go after him. Castagnoli tried sending Ospreay into the barricade, but Ospreay cleared it and hit a pip cheerio off the barricade. Back inside, Castagnoli cut off a springboard and zoned in on the ribs of something in my eye. Zoned in on the ribs of Will Ospreay. Ospreay answered with multiple Revolution head scissors. Castagnoli was then sent to the outside, only to catch a flying Ospreay in midair and planted him on the edge of the apron. It was all Castagnoli during the break, who kept Ospreay grounded throughout. Ospreay battled back with a wall walk in Zaguri and a handspring corkscrew kick to reset everything. There was a haluva kick that connected, followed by another pip cheerio. Got a 2 off of it. Castagnoli ate a few Kawada kicks as Ospreay briefly applied a sharpshooter, but Castagnoli pulled out the leg and countered into one of his own, which transitioned into a crossface. Both men got to their feet. This time, Castagnoli dragged a corkscrew kick, tried a springboard uppercut, but Ospreay hit a thrust kick in midair and then a tiger driver for a near fall. Ospreay wanted to go for the Stormbreaker, but Castagnoli rushed into the corner and got the eye poke, which led to an uppercut. There was a ripcord lariat that got a near fall, leaving Castagnoli frustrated. Ospreay then ate an uppercut, a couple of them actually, until kipping up into an enziguri. Both men then floated over with some attacks as Ospreay snapped through a Ricola bomb into a Hurricane Rana pin for a close 2. Castagnoli then caught Ospreay's Os-Cutter attempt in midair and almost hit like a burning hammer and got a 2 off of it. Castagnoli then went for a home run shot, but Ospreay met him with a Spanish Fly. Ospreay then signaled for the hidden blade, but ran into another pop-up uppercut. Castagnoli tried a giant swing, but Ospreay pulled him down into a tornado DDT. Ospreay then connected with the hidden blade and got the pin over Claudio Castagnoli. Before we get into this big post-match angle, what do you think of the match itself? I liked it.
Oh yeah, I thought this was a pretty good main event. If I'm being completely honest.
Yeah,
it was honestly the perfect thing to do for Ospreay before like this was the perfect go home match for Ospreay going into his match with Bryan Danielson.
Right.
I almost said perfect go home thing altogether, but it was match.
So then there's a post match angle here, because I mean, if one match had a post match angle, they all had a post match angle tonight. Firehouse Hobbs, Konosuke Takeshita, and Kyle Fletcher hit the ring and attacked Claudio, throwing him from the ring, where Takeshita was going to hit him with a brainbuster on the ramp when John Moxley would come out from the crowd, but the numbers were against him. Moxley and Hobbs slugged it out as Castagnoli and Takeshita went at it. Moxley and Castagnoli then held their own in the ring as Hobbs told Moxley, "I'll see you next week." Ospreay, who didn't participate in the post-match attack, backed the Don Callis family up the ramp and yelled at them for getting involved. No Bryan Danielson out to make a save, so it was Castagnoli and Moxley who were left to stare down the Don Callis family as Ospreay seemed frustrated that they came out the way they did. So this is also when Excalibur noted, and at least I heard him say, that at one point Hobbs was in Moxley's corner or something. I don't know. Maybe I misheard him. So just a bunch of stuff happening in the post-match. So then this leads to our main event angle. Swerve Strickland and Prince Nana make their way down to the ring. And Strickland said that he was asked earlier how he believes he can beat Samoa Joe at Dynasty. Last week, Strickland left Joe with the fear in his eyes, and he ran off like a little bitch as Strickland raised the AEW World title in the air, and he said, "It looked pretty good on me at that." Strickland said he's waiting for Joe to come out to the ring and tells him to come see him face to face. I feel like I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. Joe makes his way out to the ring, and then Swerve just starts yelling some shit. "Come on, fatty. It's fat ass out here. Come on, BBL Joey." And I'm like, what the fuck is BBL Joey? If anybody in the chat knows, what the hell is BBL Joey? I know BBL as Brazilian butt lift and be back later. What the shit is BBL Joey? I have no clue what that means. Maybe I'm just not hip with the slang and the lingo. But Joe comes out and immediately there's security holding him back. Swerve says, "I don't want security. Security, get away. We don't need this. I want Joe face to face. I want to talk to him, together, me and him." And so security's holding Joe back. So Strickland goes to the top rope and jumps from the top rope to the floor, knocking everybody out, lands on his feet. And I think it was Taz keeps yelling, "Oh, he hit a swerve stomp on all of them. He hit a swerve stomp on all of them." But they wasted no time. He and Joe looked at each other and just started fighting. Joe struck first and sent Strickland into the ring. Joe stalked down Nana in the corner. This allows Strickland to come in flying with a boot and deliver a house call. Strickland then took too long to follow up as Joe cut Strickland off in the corner and delivered a muscle buster. Joe stood tall over Strickland, raising the AEW World title over his head as we go to the end of the show. What do you think of this segment to end out the go-home show of Dynamite?
Good. I really did. They did go overtime for a little bit.
Well, they told us that too. They said when they started the the Ospreay Claudio match, they said this match is a 30-minute time limit, and we have been told that we can go as long as we need because we know Joe and Swerve are coming out after this match. So I think that's the new thing. They got the 7 to 8 minute overrun every week now.
BBL stands for be back later.
That's what I thought. So what's the big deal with everybody on Twitter? "Oh my God, he called him BBL Joey. Oh my God, he said BBL Joey." I don't get what the big deal is.
But if you're going like medical terms, BBL stands for Brazilian butt lift.
Right? I said that too. So I don't know what the big deal was. So many people on Twitter were like there was the gif of the one guy with his eyes wide open. He's like, the one that does that, whatever. And people are like, BBL Joey, oh my God. Oh my, what the fuck is BBL Joey? What's the big deal? I don't get it.
I mean, I could look it up and see what.
Because I looked up BBL Joey slang and like nothing came up there.
Well, I can look up on
BBL
Twitter of like
Joey.
what people are saying.
Because like, yeah, I don't know. Let me see. Yeah, be back later. Brazilian butt lift. But I don't get the big deal. BBL Joey. Let me see if you find anything. Let me know.
I mean, I'm not really finding anything on Twitter.
Yeah.
All I'm seeing is like people saying, "Did you just call him BBL Joey? What the heck?" Yeah, I'm not seeing anything.
Because Grapsy's Phil Lindsay tweeted, BBL Joey, Raze's influence definitely rubbed off on Swerve. I don't know who Raze is. This person says, Swerve calling Joe BBL Joey is crazy. Scott Steiner would be proud.
Unless it was reference of an old TNA skit, maybe.
Maybe, I don't know. But then another one's
Because,
like,
hang on, hey,
like this one because this one's like, Swerve did not just call the champ BBL Joey. BBL Joey is crazy. Did Swerve really just say BBL Joey? WTF? Yeah, I don't get the joke at all.
Was that the same tweet you saw about the Scott Steiner one that I sent?
Probably. Let me check. But with that, if you guys are watching on Twitch, the poll is live, so go check that.
Oh, I think I know what it is. Maybe it's supposed to be reference of like Scott Steiner calling Samoa Joe fat in TNA.
Maybe.
Like when Scott Steiner was like, he's fat.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a reference to that or something. I don't know.
But as far as the upcoming shows do go, and we will be doing a once we read the polls, check the polls. Luke and I will be doing our Dynasty predictions as well tonight. But as far as upcoming shows do go, we got Collision and Rampage both on Saturday. Bryan Danielson and Claudio Castagnoli versus Kyle Fletcher and Konosuke Takeshita in a bunkhouse brawl. The Elite, Okada and the Young Bucks will take on FTR and Pac, and the Acclaimed versus the Guns. Then nothing was actually announced for Collision next week on Dynamite. Jon Moxley versus Powerhouse Hobbs. And then we'll get to the Dynasty card here in a moment when we do our predictions. But let's check the polls really fast. So let's go here. Let's go here. As far as the Threads poll does go, 50% liked the show, 25% thought it was just all right, and 25% didn't like it. Looking at the X poll, 40% liked it, 40% didn't like it, 20% thought it was just all right. Looking at the YouTube community poll, wow, 47% liked it, 32%, excuse me, 32% didn't like it, and 20% thought it was just all right. Seems like most people didn't care for tonight's Dynamite. It says there's 10 comments here, but it's not showing me them for some reason. I don't know why. So if you commented on the poll, I can't read it. As far as the live poll does go, 59% liked the show, 25% didn't like the show, and 16% thought it was just all right. I feel like we're getting more I didn't like it than we normally do. So that's not good. And then as far as the Twitch poll does go, 50% liked it, 50% thought it was just all right. With that, this weekend is AEW Dynasty. Give me 1 second. Okay. Coming up this Sunday is AEW Dynasty on pay-per-view, and so far, I want to say 10 matches have been announced for the show. So we're going to run down the card and give you our predictions for everything that we do know for Dynasty. It looks like 9 matches so far on the main card, with 1 match on the pre-show. As far as the pre-show match does go, it's winner take all. The AEW Trios Championships and the Ring of Honor 6-man tag team titles will be on the line when the Bullet Club Gold Bang Bang Scissor Gang collide, I guess you would call it. Bullet Club Gold, Jay White and the Guns, taking on the Acclaimed. And Daddy asks, who you got walking out with all the belts?
As much as I would like to see Jay White win this match, I don't think it happens. I'm gonna say the babyfaces win.
So you're gonna go with the Acclaimed, and you're gonna go with the Acclaimed?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna write these down.
I think the last time we did predictions, I think you won.
Yes.
Like when we did the Mania ones.
So when we did our Mania predictions, I won because we had one match that was different. You said Kevin Owens would win the U.S. title. I said Logan Paul would retain. But with this one, I'm going to go with what I want. What you said you wanted. I'm going to say the Bullet Club Gold win it all. Uh-oh. And everything just froze. Oh, we're back. For some reason, everything froze on my end. We're good now. We're good. All right. So I'm going to say, if you didn't hear me, I'm going to say the Bullet Club Gold win everything. So they sweep it. They win it. They got all the belts. Moving on to the main card, we do know that with the FTW Championship on the line in an FTW rules match, Hook will be challenged by Chris Jericho. Hook will defend the title against Chris Jericho. I'm going to say Hook. What do you got?
I mean, yeah, I'm probably going to go Hook on this one. I don't think Jericho really needs it. It's not really going to affect Jericho that much, even if he loses, so I'm going to go Hook.
We're both saying Hook.
Because here's what I think. I think they want to give Hook this win just to make him happy in AEW.
Well, I mean, there is that report that his contract's coming up later this year, and he may want to explore free agency. So we'll see.
Because maybe they'll give them this big win to try and entice him to extend his deal while he's under contract.
Maybe. Moving forward, we do know that we will have Will Ospreay taking on Bryan Danielson. This is a toughie. I don't know who to pick here, but I'm going to let you go first since I went first on the last one. I have a prediction, but who do you got?
I got Will Ospreay just to keep his momentum strong.
Right.
Because I honestly think they're going to have him challenge for the AEW World title at All In. So I think give him this big win to keep his momentum strong.
Right.
So you can make him look good going into All In.
Yes, that's what I would say as well. Ospreay. We're both saying Ospreay. Moving forward in a ladder match for the vacant AEW World Tag Team Championships, it's the Young Bucks taking on FTR. I'm going to say the Young Bucks pick up the victory, defeat FTR, and they win the tag titles. Who do you got?
I think I think the Young Bucks are going to win this because they probably want to go the route of the Elite having all the gold. Everyone in the Elite has gold.
Also, if I want to go one step further, I think there's a chance Jack Perry returns and helps the Young Bucks in this match. And that's why it's a ladder match, which makes it no DQ. Just a thought.
I mean, isn't he technically part of Bullet Club and New Japan?
No, he was House of Torture. But it really doesn't matter because apparently Windy City Riot was his last date with New Japan. That's what Meltzer stated. That Windy City Riot was his last date with New Japan. Moving forward.
But yeah, I do think the Young Bucks win this though.
Same. Moving forward in a house rules match, the AEW TBS Championship on the line, Julia Hart will be defending against Willow Nightingale. We don't know what Willow is going to pick because house rules means the opponent gets to pick one stipulation to add on to the match. We don't know what that is yet, but I'm going to say Willow Nightingale does walk out new TBS champion. Who do you got?
I think Willow, because Willow has to win. This is the 100th time that she's challenging for the TBS title.
Well, that and the whole Mercedes thing.
The whole Mercedes thing, because I think Willow wins, and they're going to do Willow versus Mercedes at Double or Nothing. Because I think they could go the route of Willow. What if Willow attacked Mercedes during that interview.
Well, that's the thing. We're supposed to think it's Julia, but it maybe not. And that's what even Mercedes said tonight. Was it Julia, or was it somebody else that wanted me to think it was Julia? Moving forward in a trios match, we got Adam Copeland, the TBS champion, teaming with the NJPW Strong champion, Eddie Kingston, and the Ring of Honor World champion, Mark Briscoe, against the House of Black, Malachi Black, Brody King, and Buddy Matthews. Who do you got walking out victorious here?
This is a toughie, in my opinion. Like, I want House of Black to win because Malachi Black, he's one of my favorite wrestlers, and they're probably going to go the route of either him or Brody King challenging for the TNT title. So you would think that House of Black is going to win. But I don't want them to win, but I'm going to have to go with the baby faces.
Okay, so you're saying Adam Copeland's team wins. Now, I'm going to go opposite of that. I'm going to say House of Black wins with Malachi Black pinning Copeland to get that TNT title shot.
Actually, I'm going to switch that.
You're going to switch it? You sure?
Yeah, I'm going to switch. I will switch it, yeah.
I didn't I didn't persuade
normally I
you.
don't switch a lot. No, you didn't, but like, because here's the thing: if Copeland's team wins, how are you gonna build to him defending against one of the members of the House of Black?
Exactly.
Because then Copeland can just be like, "Well, I just beat you.
Yep.
I don't have to do anything."
Exactly. Moving forward with the AEW Women's World Championship on the line, it's Timeless Toni Storm defending against Thunder Rosa. I'll let you take this one first. Who do you got, Toni Storm or Thunder Rosa?
This one is extremely obvious. It's Toni Storm.
Yep. I think we're both picking the same. I picked Toni Storm as well because, as we talked about in our Dynamite review, I think the big payoff with Toni Storm's title reign is her versus Mariah May. So she doesn't lose that title before she faces Mariah May. Next up with the AEW Continental Championship on the line is Kazuchika Okada defending against Pac. Again, another very obvious one. Okada retains over Pac. Who do you got?
I got Okada winning, but I will say, I think this match right here, match of the night. I think this one right here could be match of the night here.
It really could. Cool.
But it's going to be tough between this or the Ospreay match, but if I had to pick one, I think this will be match of the night.
Okay. So another match that can be one of the better matches on the card is for the International Championship, as Roderick Strong will be defending against Kyle O'Reilly. What do you got here? This is a tough one. Strong or O'Reilly?
This is a tough one, but excuse me. But I probably have to go Roderick Strong on this one.
You say Strong retains.
Yeah.
I'm going to go the opposite. I'm going to say they put the title on Kyle O'Reilly. He's been gone for 2 years. He's been winning a bunch of matches. His best friend or one of his best friends turned on him. So now he's going to get that revenge. And Roderick Strong. So I think there's a couple things that's going to play in here. Kyle wins. Strong loses, which means Wardlow fails in what Adam Cole told him to do. And Adam Cole's going to be mad at Wardlow because he didn't help and make sure Strong keeps his belt. I think it also builds up more tension in the Undisputed Kingdom as well. I'm going to say Kyle O'Reilly walks out the champion.
I still got Strong retaining because I don't think they're going to do anything with Adam Cole for a while because I think they're just going to have Adam Cole rest for a little bit because apparently the rumor is there's been no improvement since he's been traveling.
So there was a report today by Fightful that actually stated that all the travel has actually made Adam Cole's recovery worse as far as he's recovering slower than expected because he's been walking on that leg too much. So that's why Adam Cole's been off of television because they have to limit how much he travels now because it's been hindering his recovery. But as we move forward to our main event, at least what I think is going to be the main event, could be Ospreay and Danielson, but what I think is going to be the main event with the AEW World Championship on the line, it's Samoa Joe defending against Swerve Strickland. Who do you got?
Well, I'm pretty sure on Dynamite tonight, they already said that this is the main event.
Okay, that I missed then.
They said at the end, like the main event,
okay.
Swerve versus Joe. But I think Swerve wins. I think Swerve finally gets the AEW World title.
I'm going to agree there. I'm going to say Swerve walks out the champion. They finally put that title on Swerve. And so, like, you build up Swerve, and I think Swerve holds the title for a little while. Maybe you even do, like, Swerve versus Ospreay at All In for the title. You have Swerve hold it. So what would that be? May, June, July, for like 4 months, he holds the title.
There is that strong possibility of Swerve versus Ospreay at All In.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
that's what a lot of fans are predicting.
Right. And I think it would be a really good match, really good main event, and then Ospreay beats him for the belt. But I think Swerve, it's time. I think if Swerve loses again in a big title match, fans are going to stop caring. So it's like do or die now. You have to do it, or the fans are going to turn on love and Swerve as much as they do. So with that, AEW Dynasty does come to us this Sunday live on pay-per-view. You can also get it in the United States on Fight TV. So that's a good thing. You don't have to use Bleacher Report. You can get it on Fight TV in the United States. But if you get it in the United States on Fight, it's $50. If you use a VPN and get it on the UK version of Fight TV, it's only $20. So just keep that in mind. But again, Dynasty does come to us this Sunday, and if we do hear anything further on the Dynasty pay-per-view, we will let you know right here, Pro Wrestling Unlimited. So with that, I want to say thank you for joining us here, twitch.tv/PW Unlimited, youtube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. But Luke, tell them where they can find you.
You can find me over at Twitter X at Petke_21. And you can also find me over at Twitch at Young Grasshopper Luke.
So with that, guys, have a great night. We'll see you back here Friday for Friday Night SmackDown, and then Sunday for AEW Dynasty. Have a good one, guys. All right, if you're still